Okay, 8.2, exploring graphs of periodic functions. So what is a periodic function? It's a function whose graph repeats in a regular interval or cycle. So you can see that this, right, it's like a wave. Okay, so the midline is the height right in the middle. So it's halfway between the highest, the max, and the lowest, the min values. Amplitude is how far off of the midline are you. So from your midline to your max or midline to your min, how far are you away? And it's always obviously a positive number. And the period is how long did it take you to get to one cycle. So I'm starting here, I'm going up, back to there, down, and then back to the midline. So that's a cycle, because if I keep going, I'm obviously starting a repetition. Okay, so we're going to graph y equals sine x. Okay, so y equals, gotta get all this other stuff out of there. So sine of x, that's what it's going to look like. Okay, so let's go into radian mode. Okay, so I'm in radian mode, so I'm going to go back to my window here. So I'm going to change my y min to negative, let's go 3 pi. And your max is 3 pi. And we're going to make the scale pi divided by 2, which is 90 degrees. So what am I doing? Remember, so this is pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and then 2 pi. I'm kind of trying to create those angles. Okay, I'm going to change my y min to, let's go negative 3 to 3, and then up by 1s. Oh, yeah, I'm good. We changed the mode, right, to radians, so there is my curve. So 0, 0 at pi over 2, you're at 1. The next would be at pi, right? At 3 pi over 2, you're down there. And then the next would be at 2 pi. You complete the cycle. Okay, so we're going to graph that. So 0 up, back to 0 down, back to 0, and so on. So you could see that the highest it went was 1 and the lowest was negative 1. And it took to 2 pi to get to this one cycle. So my y-intercept is right here, 0. Give 2 x-intercepts. So we could have gone like 0, pi, 2 pi. The domain, well, it's going to keep going, 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 going. Where x is an element of all the real numbers. The range, the lowest is negative 1 to the highest 1. So the period is how long for the cycle. So from here to there was a cycle, so that's a distance across 2 pi. The amplitude is how far it's stretching off of my midline. So it goes out 1. And my midline is y equals 0. Okay, cos curve. So I'm going to go to y equals cos of x. Okay, I'm going to keep all that same window stuff. So I went from negative 3 pi to 3 pi, and I made sure I was in radian mode. Okay, so now it looks a little different. So that's what it looks like. So I'm going to, that's 0, 1. So the next increment is pi over 2. So you can see that at pi, it's low. So then the next in the cycle is 3 pi over 2. So it's back into the middle. And then last, it's 2 pi, so you're at the top. And once I get back to the top, that is the end of a cycle. And what are the heights there? The height is 1. And then the low height was -1. Okay, so now my y-intercept is 1. So I could write that as a coordinate. Your x-intercepts are pi over 2, 3 pi over 2. Okay, you would keep going, but it just says to give 2. Your domain, it's going to keep going that way and going that way. So x is an element of the real numbers. Range, lowest, -1, highest 1, period. So this is at a max, and it got back to a max at 2 pi. Amplitude, it stretches a distance of 1 off the midline, and the midline is right here, a y equals a height of 0. Okay, that's 8.2.